Hello, I'm Johnny Lawrence. I'm a Canadian, and I'm happy to be here with you today. I am excited about sharing some things that I've been learning the past 7 years. I've spent more than 24,000 one-on-one classes, almost 25,000 classes with almost 7,500 professionals in over 70 countries. And it's kind of like going to get my master's degree in international communication. And I've been teaching and tutoring English. I never planned on this, but it's an exciting journey. I'm actually a teacher. I have my teacher's diploma. I'm a businessman, but I ended up coming to Brazil about 7 years ago and found this opportunity to start teaching English. And so it's been one-on-one online classes. And, there's things that I learned that I just could not, I've never read it in a book. And maybe you saw the movie, The King's Speech, Lionel, and the king would say, Dr. Lionel, and he would say, no, just Lionel, right? So I don't have a doctor degree or a master's degree in English teaching. If you're looking for a grammar coach, I'm not your guy. Okay, I'm good in English, I think, and I did well in school. My English teacher was my favorite. He was my drama teacher. I love acting. I was going to make a career doing that. Instead, I went to a humble theology college and got a ministerial diploma and a teacher's training diploma. And I went into business and did many things in my life. And now, after 7 years of learning so much through one-on-one interactions with students around the world, I wanted to, and I felt I needed to, start a YouTube channel. And I thought, what do I call this? And my name is John Lawrence, but I call myself Johnny Lawrence. My legal name is John, and I'm a Canadian. So I thought, Canadian Johnny Lawrence. I don't think anybody knows who I am, really. So I realized, what is the one thing that I've learned these past 7 years interacting with more than 7,500 individual professionals around the world? What was the one major thing? And of course, it leapt out at me because when I first started teaching these classes, I had people coming into the class and sharing with me their story in plain English and then say, but I can't speak. And that's why I want to get classes from you. And so I was just listening and making mental notes. Why are these people who are speaking plain English telling me I can't speak? And I'm going to say it took maybe 1,000 to 2,000 classes for my lightning quick mind to catch on. Why are they saying they can't speak when they're clearly speaking very, very well? Not perfectly. Of course, they need to improve. And I slowly begin to realize, and if you watch my other video, this is a brand new channel. I've only uploaded one video. What is really wrong with your English? And you can watch that. I don't make people wait 15 or 20 minutes to get view time. I told people, and I'm telling you right away, what is really wrong with your English? Nothing. Well, John, I freeze. I can't think of a word. My vocabulary isn't so good. What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with my English. And just to briefly recap what I had said in the video, there's 4 things that negatively affect your confidence. And I won't go into them because they're all there. But perfectionism, feeling this need to apologize when you make mistakes, fear of making mistakes, fear of being embarrassed when you make a mistake in front of other people. It just kills your confidence. And when your confidence is low, your competence is low, isn't it? Right? Professional people with good English skills, solid English skills, maybe not advanced or proficient, maybe even not upper intermediate, but good skills, intermediate level. Your company has you doing these global meetings. I spoke with a student just today. I'm like, what's your stress level? I always ask key questions. A wonderful Brazilian man, a mechanical engineer with a global company. What's your stress level? And he just told me straight. It's like, John, 1, I'm not stressed. 10, I need oxygen. I'm going to pass out right now. That's the 10. And he actually said, I'm a 10. And, I had to share with him. I took the whole class and beginning building up his confidence and explaining, forget the perfectionism. You won't ever be perfect. I'm not perfect in my English skills, and I'm a Canadian. You're not going to be perfect in your own native language. Forget that. Number two, never apologizing or feeling you need to apologize when you make mistakes in English. It's bad for your confidence, and nobody wants to hear an apology. You didn't do anything wrong, right? Number three, that fear of being embarrassed. I said for a couple of years, fear of making mistakes in front of people. That's why people hate public speaking. By the way, forgive me if I'm speaking too fast. I'm just really excited, and sometimes I forget that I can speak too quickly. But I think, according to my students, basically 100%, that they can understand the way I speak and my Canadian accent very well. We Canadians don't think we have an accent. Either way. So, and the fourth thing is lack of practice in real world environments, right? So those are the four things that negatively affect your confidence, and therefore it affects your competence. But none of these things have anything related to your English skills. And so my point is, and you'll see again in the video, I wanted to just give you this boost of confidence. Before we begin, we're going to talk about freezing. What happens when you freeze? What should you do when you freeze up and you don't know what to say? And I'm going to talk to you about that. But even when you're freezing up, you're going to see from some of the people that I'm going to quote, I'm going to reference an article I've read with my students from a website called angu.com. Very good. The articles are positive. It's the daily news section. Recommend read an article a day. It's like taking a vitamin. Highly recommend it. I've read thousands of articles. I'll put a link in the description. Wonderful website. I'm not affiliated with them, but I highly recommend reading an article a day. Good for your vocabulary, reading, excellent. So we're going to refer that in just a moment about freezing. But what I wanted to say to you was that these areas have nothing to do with your English skills. And people ask, well, John, I need to improve. What do you mean there's nothing wrong? My question is this. If you look at a tree, you saw my logo, and it's a tree. Why grow confident? Because if you looked at a tree that's, say, 2 or 3 years old, maybe 4 years old, you look at it. I'm a Canadian. I love the Canadian maple leaf tree. All right? Well, say it's only 2 or 3 years old. You're looking at it, and it's like, okay, it's growing, it's developing, but you look at a Canadian maple leaf tree that's 70 years old or 25 years old, it's huge and beautiful. And in the autumn, it's so gorgeous. The leaves change color. It's amazing and incredible vision, isn't it? And so what's the point? That tree is small. It doesn't have as much branches as the older tree, but would you say there's just something wrong with that tree? No, there's nothing wrong with the tree. To drive this home to you, I like tennis. I'm not so good, but I like playing. But let's say tennis, the world champion at tennis, man or woman, world champion, do they need to improve? Do they need to get better? Of course they do. If they don't, they're not going to be world champion in the next year. It's like a boxer, right? The world champion, and he does his thing and becomes the world champion, heavyweight, welterweight, whatever. If he doesn't keep training, he may not be champion next year. It's the same with anything, isn't it? You know this. No matter how good you are at something, you can always improve. What is the final point? This doesn't mean there's something fundamentally wrong with your English skills. Okay? So I'm basically rehearsing what I've said in my very first video on YouTube to drive home this point, because it's the most important thing, the most important lesson I've learned in 7 years and almost 25,000 classes. Your confidence affects your competence. So my channel is Grow Confidence. Now, I want to say this to you, and then we're going to talk about the freezing, and I'm going to reference this article and some of this content and help you with this freezing. But before we go into the freezing, I want to say this. Look, nervousness isn't your problem, okay? Stress, anxiety, and fear, that's a real problem. But nervousness isn't. However, it can become a problem when you give into it and the cortisol level in your blood goes up and suddenly you can't think, you can't speak. I know you can relate, and I can't think of a word. I'm freezing. This happens to advanced people, right? Advanced people in English. John, I can't think, I can't speak, I freeze. So that is high levels of stress and anxiety. What do you do initially? You put your, and I'm very serious about this, put your shoulders back, put a smile on your face, and act confident. This is not fake. This is not phony. That is what professionals do. They act confident. Obviously, you need to be prepared for what you're doing. If you're giving a report, if you're joining a global meeting, if you have to do a job interview, which I'll be doing coaching on job interviews, by the way, IELTS, that's coming as well. I'm going to be sharing many other videos in the future. My goal, I'm still teaching one-on-one classes. And I also wanted to say that in case I forget, you can message me and we can schedule a one-on-one class. I will evaluate you if you need coaching for job interview, to do the IELTS test. If you just want to have someone to coach you with your confidence, with your overall English, I still do that, but that's something we could talk about later if you need my help in that area. Okay, back on point. So you're going to put your shoulders back. You put a nice relaxed smile on your face to overcome the nervousness or the anxiety that you may feel. It's not going to make it go away, but it will release dopamine, smile, happy hormones, the endorphins into your blood pretty much immediately. What's the benefit? That you're going to feel more calm and you'll be able to think better and you will feel more confident. Okay? So this is so important. I want you to realize English skills are not the problem. You'll always need to grow like the tree. Each year you get better. And if I can inject here regarding grammar, don't stress about grammar. We don't care unless we're an English teacher or like a professor, book editor, or like a translator at an embassy. We write our English grammar tests in high school and then we like to forget it. No offense to all you wonderful English teachers in high schools and universities, but we go on with that and we just basically never think about it again. It's not something that is so fun. So the grammar is built into the English language. So by default, every year that your English gets better, you get better in grammar. Okay, if you want to study it on its own as a standalone grammar book by Oxford, go ahead. Just have the number of maybe a psychiatrist or a psychologist right there. You know, you could call them up. Hi, yeah, I need an appointment this afternoon. Really? What's wrong? Well, I've been studying grammar for 2 weeks and I think I'm going crazy. Studying grammar for 2 weeks? Get in here right now. We have an appointment. I'm just saying, okay? You want to do that? Do it at your own risk. Your grammar will get better if you keep improving in your English skills. All right, so that is what you need to do. Shoulders back, a nice relaxed smile on your face, and you act confident. All right, so I wanted to give you that boost of confidence before we begin. Now, I'm going to read a little bit. You can find this article in the comments. I put it right in there about the freezing, okay? So you'll be able to see it and you can read it completely. I'm just going to read certain sections and then I'm going to comment for you. Okay, so I'm going to read this. Again, this is from Engu Daily News, question mark, here's what to do. That's the name of the title. So when you're learning a language, there are times when it feels like your mouth and your brain are working together. We can all identify. Perhaps, one moment, you can't think of the word you want to use, you lose your train of thought, and you just freeze. Has anyone ever been through anything like that? Can you relate? We've all been there. But when that happens, what do? How do you get yourself back on track? So I'm asking you, can you remember a time where you're giving a report and then you freeze? It's one of the worst feelings, isn't it? To freeze up in front of colleagues or a customer and you don't know what to say. We can start to perspire. We can start to freak out, right? And so I'm not minimizing any of these things that affect our confidence, by the way. I say it with a smile on my face, but the truth is people can be terrified of public speaking. I'm a professional speaker. In my college years, I learned how to prepare speeches and deliver them. And it's not so easy. And to get up there in front of people and just do your thing in front of professional people, colleagues, customers, it's just not so easy. And we freeze, but I'm going to help you with that. So I want to quote something. I just discovered this lady's website last week. I had heard about her from reading these articles, but I wanted to give a shout out to this lady because as far as I remember, I think she's been teaching confidence to people for like the past 10 years. I'm not affiliated with her. I've liked her channel, but I've never met her. We're not associated. Hopefully I can be because I can learn a lot from her. But her name is Anne-Marie Fowler, and her website is called Speak Confident English. And again, she's got a ton of videos, tons of resources there. And I'm just starting out getting my content out there. I think she's quite brilliant. I've listened to some of her videos. Shout out to Anne-Marie Fowler. She says this: freezing doesn't mean your English is bad. It just means you care about getting it right. And I thought, you know what? That is so brilliant. Freezing doesn't mean your English is bad, which I know we all do, guys. We all do it. We blame our English first. We are criticizing ourselves so much. No wonder our confidence level is so low, right? We blame ourselves. My English isn't good. My speaking isn't good. When I'm here to help you to overcome and realize that is not the basic problem at all. Okay? Of course you need to improve. I can't emphasize it, but needing to improve does not mean your English is fundamentally bad. I cannot stress that enough. So it doesn't mean your English is bad when you freeze. It just means you care about getting it right. So you're there in that meeting and you know what you want to say. Look, I'm here in Brazil. I've been in Brazil for almost 7 years. I'm learning Portuguese and it's quite fun and difficult too, I think. So you're there and all of a sudden you want to say it in English. You know, if you can say it in Portuguese or Japanese or Turkish or Mandarin or Spanish or Italian, you know, you can say it so perfectly, but you must speak it in English. So the right way to say it is, I'm not sure. And so that doubt about the right way to say it, it just means, look, I want to say this properly. And you can be like, and freeze, right? But that doesn't mean that your English is problematic. So she says, don't panic. A lot of conversations involve pausing and restarting. That's how we communicate. Freezing doesn't mean failure, says Anne-Marie Fowler. And I'm like, oh, this is good. You know, and as I started reading that article again, you can read it in its entirety. I'm just introducing you to it and you can check it out completely. She believes that if learners freeze, they should first recenter with a phrase. And by recenter, she means to refocus your attention. So you can do this by using a filler word. Well, or let me rephrase something like that. Now, for my students that I teach privately, I went on ChatGPT after I read this content. I'm like, I need to find some filler words and phrases. So if you reach out to me, I can help you with that if you want. I have a couple of Microsoft documents. You can have them and they will give you a list of filler words and phrases and also some exercises. There's 2 Microsoft documents. I may combine it into one PDF. We'll see how it goes. I've been sending that out hundreds and hundreds of times. Now, there's a linguist. Her name is Gretchen McCulloch. She says filler words and phrases are useful to learn, and they show that when you don't know what to say, listen, please, folks, it's a content issue, not a language issue, just like I was saying before. It's a content issue. You're reaching into your mind, you're double clicking a folder and going, should I say it this way or should I say it that way? If you could say it in your native language, you'd be like, I know exactly how to say it, right? And this is the challenge. This is what goes on again and again and again. Fowler also uses filler words and phrases, including ones like, let me rephrase that, or let me put it this way. It makes you sound more confident to others, right? Not less confident. Let me rephrase that, okay? And then you go on. Really, you could be translating in your mind and trying to get it straight before it comes out of your mouth. Totally fine. And as I said, there's many filler words and phrases. I challenge you to memorize some of them. 4 or 5 or 6 of them is really all you need, and you can use them over and over again. Let's continue. These phrases also give you time to think about what you want to say next, as I just said, so learning some of them could be really useful. But there's also ways to help you to avoid freezing in the first place or to make it less likely to happen. Now, there's a website called BritSpeak. I casually looked at it because I read this article so many times. Dan from BritSpeak says it may be that you're busy translating thoughts in your head from your own language to English. Well, this can slow you down, but it's hard to get out of the habit. And then he says there's only one way and one remedy, and that's to practice, practice, practice. All right, so let me just close that. Again, the link for that is in the article. Thousands of times students have said, wow, your glasses are cool. You probably have tattoos. You sing in the band. I'm not really an English, teacher, tutor, coach at all. I really play in a band in England. We've got like a battle of the bands. We're going to playing for Prince Charles. It's really going to be brilliant, We've got like 9. Okay, I'm just joking. I don't have tattoos. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And I don't play in a band, but I do sing. I'm not going to do it right now, but maybe sometime. But I sing all kinds of different tunes. I love to do karaoke and I love to sing. And I've sang with some bands. But these glasses, actually, I wear them because of the lighting. In the past year, in 2025, I had like 4 surgeries, 1 on this eye and 3 on this eye. And I need to go back for another little laser surgery. I was half blind, actually. My right eye had 10% vision. No more detail, but just to let you know, I'm wearing these for optical vision reasons. And because of the lighting, I need them because my eyes are so sensitive to light. But my students are like, wow, those are cool glasses. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wear them and I'll be cool Canadian Johnny Lawrence. What do you think? So you're a personal confidence coach, right? That is the article about the freezing. So guys, I just want to say to you directly, that's one area where you can work on your skills. These filler phrases, you will be able to have them ready. So when you're speaking along and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, how do I say that? That pause, that translation in your mind, you have this, you're saying, let me rephrase that, or can I put it another way? Or as a matter of fact, can be any one of them. And the people listening, they have no idea you're translating in your mind. Not that there's anything wrong with that either. And as you grow and get more confident, you'll translate less. And we'll talk about that more in another class. So I hope the information that I share with you helps you. Please believe me when I say that your skills in English, probably a lot of the people who are watching are probably quite fine. Some of you may be even advanced level or even proficient level, but yet your confidence level is still low. So I'm going to be putting out more information about building up your confidence, putting your shoulders back, putting a smile on your face, and doing what you need to do as a professional. Your company wouldn't have you in that position unless they felt that you were competent enough to do it, okay? And I'll give you another tip. Think of yourself like a tree growing every year and evaluate your English growth yearly, not weekly, not monthly or bi-monthly. And every night you go outside your home, say there's a tree growing there, it's about 3-4 years old, and there you are, you're looking at the tree every night. You have your phone, you're scrolling, and then your significant other comes over to you, taps you on the shoulder, you're like, can I ask you, why are you out here? I've noticed like every night you're out here. Oh, I'm just actually checking out to see if this tree is growing. Your friend is like, is it? I think so. I'm not sure. Like, I think that it is. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I can measure. Of course, it's growing. It has sunlight. It has water. It's doing its thing underneath. The roots are growing deeper and stronger. The tree is growing naturally. And my dear friends all over the world, please, if you can just relax, enjoy the journey, let go of the anxiety and the stress, be yourself, be prepared, keep doing what you're doing to get to the level that you are. Start being your own best friend. Put it in your phone from this day forward. March 23rd, 2026, I'm super confident in my English skills. Say it to yourself. And if you don't have anyone to practice your verbal skills, speak to yourself, speak to your significant other, your family, your dog, your cat, a plant. It will help you. And have fun doing it, okay? Your English skills will get better each week, each month, each year. When you look back, you're going to notice that the growth is quite small the more advanced you get. The difference in growth is minimal because you're getting better and better. So I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope that you received a little boost of confidence. Again, I'm building my content, folks. So please give me time. I'll be rolling out a lot of short videos as well. I'm going to be bringing guests in from around the world. I've met people that have taught and tutored and coached to help get jobs. By the way, I specialize in job interview coaching. I cannot tell you how many people I've helped get jobs all over the world. Just to give you a list before I close this, some of my students, many are engineers, especially from Turkey, banking finance. I have professionals in the banking finance field as well. A lot of IT professionals here in Brazil. I have many doctors and lawyers, people that are in the education that are teaching. One of my students, she's a federal judge here in Brazil. Her and her husband are both federal judges. I have so many professionals from Turkey, Brazil, China, South Korea, Japan, Italy, Spain, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Jordan, the UAE. And I have met some amazing people. And I really can tell you that the interactions I've had for 7 years with people like you has changed my life forever. I've learned far more from you people than I think you would ever can learn from me. And it is a process, and I'm so thankful. So as we move forward, I'm going to be creating content. I'm really excited to, and yourself, if you have a story that you want to tell me about that you feel would be good for, that you want to share to the people that I am tuning into my channel here, please reach out to me. I can't promise you that I will have you on as a guest, but I would appreciate it if you would reach out if you've got an interesting story about your journey and developing your English skills and what it's been like. And I especially would love to hear your comments. If you can write some areas where you really are struggling in your confidence. Some people get so defeated and depressed and really angry at themselves because they feel that they're letting people down and that I'm not the professional I could or should be. And I take this seriously because it can affect us and affect our mental health and the way that we relate. And the stress and anxiety can be so bad. As I said, that man's stress level was 10. Usually it's, 5, 6, 7. Sometimes it's very low, 3 or 4. But please, I want to hear from you. Let me know what country you're from. And also, one final thing. If you have something you want me to talk about, if there's an area that you would like me to address regarding English, regarding confidence, please also put it in the comments. You can also message me, but probably if it's an issue that you have, somebody else has the same thing. And I would be happy to do my best to address it and do a video or a short video maybe, or at least point you into the direction with some resources. So once again, I want to thank you for joining me in this video. It's been fun and interesting, and I hope that your confidence is boosted a little bit. Remember, your competence and your confidence grow together little by little like a tree, each day, each month, each year. Ciao for now.